नमस्कार, आई एम राधा भट्ट एंड वेलकम टू द वॉइस ऑफ रेजिलियंस, जहाँ पे हम बात करते हैं क्लाइमेट चेंज के बारे में, जैसे संसार बदल रहा है, चीज़ें बदल रही है हमारे आसपास, डिज़ास्टर के बारे में। और हमारे साथ जो गेस्ट जुड़े होते हैं वो पॉलिसी मेकर्स हैं, गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल्स हैं, रिसर्चर्स हैं, टीचर्स हैं, एजुकेटर्स हैं, एक्सपर्ट्स हैं जो इस फील्ड में बहुत सालों से काम कर रहे हैं। तो आज हमारे साथ दो बहुत ही स्पेशल लोग जुड़े हुए हैं,
Group Captain Rashmi Dhimri ji.
and Dr. Chaudhary. I would invite you to just tell us something about yourself, about your name, the designation, the space you come from.
So I'm Hemant Chaudhary and I'm founder and managing director of an impact agency called Circular Economy Alliance Australia. So I've been, I obviously was born and brought up in India and left India at the age of 25. So for the last 35 years, I've been working in Australia, but also with a lot of multilateral agencies, not just within Australia, but also outside Australia. So still maintain very strong emotional and professional ties with my motherland, which is India. Yeah.
Group Captain Rashmi, I'm part of Indian Air Force since last 23 years in meteorology branch. And as the name suggests, meteorology is the science of weather forecasting, climate related things. And by virtue of being in defense, I'm lucky enough to explore all around the country. So I've served in places all around from north, south, east, west, you name the places, with good exposures. And I could find out that yes, there are disasters which have been happening in various parts of the country, especially with the focus on the northern part of the Himalayan belt, which is more prone to any disaster because that is the place for occurrence of any new disaster. Most of the disasters are associated with mountains and that, and we need to do something about that. So I'm very much passionate towards that, to work in those fields. And being in meteorology branch, got exposure to work in various forms like that, connecting with various Indian agencies who are working in this field. And I look forward for certain work in this direction.
Nice. So, I have heard your background, but how did you come to this space, to this subject of disaster management or climate change? वो आपकी journey कैसे रही? I would like to know that.
Actually, initially I'm a physics postgraduate from IIT Roorkee. And initially I was not intending to come to Air Force, and just by chance I was actually going to join in the academic field, maybe would have gone into some research field at that time. But maybe call for the duty, or you can say for the nation, and I joined Indian Air Force, and I really feel proud to be part of Indian Air Force because it's one of a very good professional organization which lets you grow. There is no demarcation between a men or a woman. It's all Indian Air Force people who work together, and that is the best part of Indian Air Force. So I feel lucky about that. Plus, especially about my branch, meteorology, it's scientific branch, right? From the time I joined, we have been continuously working in the field of weather, forecasting, understanding extremes, understanding climate patterns of various places, making summaries and understanding, and then at the same time working towards instrumentation and equipments which help us understanding more weather. So I'm in a way directly connected to disaster, you can say, how to look forward and how to make forecasting better, go towards a better alert system.
Lovely, lovely. So now coming back to you, you said that you were 25 when you left India, and it's been 35 years that you are in Australia.
Yeah.
So what led you to this space where you're talking about sustainability, we're talking about disaster management, mitigation, prevention. So how was your journey to this subject?
Yeah, it's been very fascinating. I did my environmental engineering from India, and I went to do my PhD in Australia. And as fate might have it for me, they were in the process of establishing an agency called Environment Protection Agency, which is similar to our Pollution Control Board, but far more broader in many ways.
Okay.
And so the first program that I was at the right place at the right time, and so I was hired to look specifically at the industrial eco-efficiency aspects of the agency, and we did a program. It was called Cleaner Industries Demonstration Scheme. The focus of that program was prevention at source.
Okay.
Not an end of the pipe approach, but taking a more holistic preventative approach towards the entire industrial operation that would look at every aspect, right? From purchasing to housekeeping to material management to technology improvement, but with a specific focus on eliminating waste, pollution, reducing energy and water in footprint within the operation at source, not an end of the pipe approach.
Right.
And so we had a funding of around $2 million. This is 92 I'm talking about, so it would be around $15 million today. And I did project with 48 industries from different sectors, diversity of sectors. And after 3 years of implementing that program, we had the Adelaide University do an independent economic evaluation of the program. So the participating industries received the return on investment was $66 million,
Wow.
which was 33 times return
That's
for every dollar. And
Wow.
that was because of prevention.
yeah, prevention. Yes.
Prevention. Because it ticked all the boxes. It not only achieved your environmental and sustainability objectives, but it provided a phenomenal financial benefit to the participating businesses and also improved health and safety, obviously.
Right.
So it's a win-win all across.
Right.
And that's been then the kind of a cornerstone of all the work over the last 30 odd years now, where I've been not just within Australia, but across the world, trying to get that message across and trying to get that innovative thinking, which focuses on prevention, not, so how do you go back to those interventions that prevent the problem at the first place,
Right.
as against dealing with it once it has happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So and you spoke of, are you talking about prevention in alignment with sustainability?
Absolutely. So there is a natural correlation between the work I did and climate change, because
Okay.
if you look at circular economy, we are talking about circularity of resources. So whether it's energy circularity, water circularity, material circularity, what we are doing is we are keeping our resources in circularity. So we live in a finite world. We don't have infinite resources. We only have one earth, right?
Right, sir.
And the way our consumption patterns have grown in the last 50 years and the population growth, we have reached, I would say, a perfect storm situation. So I'll give you an idea. 2020, first time we crossed 100 billion tons of extraction of resources. 100 billion tons.
Oh my.
We were sitting around 40 billion tons only 30 years ago. So it's more than double. Now we cannot sustain that.
Right.
And we will not have resources for the next generation the way we are consuming them.
Right.
So we have to look at how we can bring those resources back into circularity. But then every activity we do, whether it's material, industrial activity, day-to-day activity, you can actually bring it down to your energy footprint or your energy consumption.
Okay.
Everything we do, every activity, you can bring it down. Even if we drink water, it has to be pumped from somewhere.
Right.
So there is an energy footprint with that.
Right.
Anything you do, whether you take transport, you eat food, there is an energy aspect related to it.
So when you say energy, what exactly you mean?
So energy is basically so for example, electricity. Everything activity we do, there is I would say a carbon footprint attached to it.
Right, sir.
So circular economy is all focusing on minimizing that footprint.
Okay.
And so that has a direct correlation with climate change, because the less you consume, the less is your energy consumption or your power consumption, the less carbon emissions, obviously, and the less impact on the environment and also on climate.
Right.
So climate change cannot be separate. You cannot deal with climate change just from a prism of energy consumption. You cannot keep on putting solar farms and wind farms and all those things and assume that is going to solve the problem. You still have to focus on prevention and reducing your energy footprint. So circular economy looks at the whole aspect of it.
Wow, lovely. So just Dr. Chaudhary is talking about circular economy, and he's talking majorly about energy, carbon footprint. And in your experience, and someone who has been working in meteorological department, how do you relate with this topic?
You see, carbon footprints, or for a layman term, how they can relate it with actually climate changes. Like all the carbon emissions, whatever happens, it actually heat the atmosphere. Right, so like you see the amount of aviation industry in country which is growing and all around the world. So the maximum carbon emission, again those
From the aviation.
aircraft, from the aviation sector. And then likewise, there are so many other things which what he mentioned, that like we should now think of the cyclable or recyclable things. So now these emission finally are going to the atmosphere. So atmosphere is getting heated. So now if the Earth's overall temperature gets even rises by 0.5 degrees, it can have a lot of impact on weather parameters which are happening.
Okay.
So that's why the main root cause of any weather occurrence is heat, the temperature. Right? So likewise, what is a cloud? Is nothing but during the winter season, when we have fog activity, because the atmosphere is stable, it settles down. So fog is nothing but the cloud touching the ground. But the same thing during the monsoon season or during any intense weather cloud activity, it rises. Why it rises? Because of the temperature changes which occurs, the heating and excessive heating. So all those things are directly, indirectly related to the climate change factors. So any temperature rise, any carbon emissions and various factors, in a way they are related to, over a period of time, long run, they can be associated with climate change.
Right.
And we are talking specifically of climate change because of human activity.
Human activities, yes.
But we, as humans, you know, okay, so when we talk about human activity, maybe 20% of the population is into production, right? 80% are the consumers. So
That's
what are we
true.
talking about? We're talking about the production part or the consumption part?
I think
Both
we have to
ways.
focus on consumption first,
Okay.
because that will again impact the production. And if you look at our consumption patterns, we are very unsustainable now. And I will quote you on a simple statistics that in 1970, an average human being around the world was consuming 7 tons of resources per annum.
Okay.
We have crossed 14 tons per annum for one human being. So our resource consumption per person has doubled, and our population has also quadrupled. So that's a perfect storm scenario. So how can we sustain that, right? We cannot sustain it. And so consumption has to be addressed, but then it's also a very difficult problem to address, because our economic model across the world relies on people to consume more.
Exactly.
And
Consumers economy.
So this concept of this continuous growth, right? That, how can that be sustained? I don't have the answers for it, because on one hand you have countries that want to catch up with so-called, they have to improve their quality of life or their standard of living.
Right.
So they want people to, obviously consumption is a parameter of that, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, you also have to deal with the fallout of that. So
Yes,
that's the
he is right. But at the same time, see, at the cost of advancements which are taking place, we cannot say that because climate change is happening or global warming is happening, we will not use the advanced thing which is happening. So finally, we have to grow up. So the solution lies in looking for the sustainable options which are environment friendly. Like we should look for some green technology, green environment, and like I mentioned in discussing earlier also, why not beat the heat with heat? I mean, whatever thing that says, like, see, when you run a AC, right, it has a lot of exhaust in terms of the heat it is throwing in the atmosphere.
Yeah, right.
Like we get the urban heat island effect in cities. So why not use that heat in generation of some sort of technology which leads to a cooler sort of air?
Yeah.
So those sort of things may be possible. I don't know. I'm not a technical expert in that way, but then we need to think on those lines. Like why not convert one aspect to other? Why not use the solar energy which we have like during the summer months? So we do have solar power based equipment, but why not enhance it further for environment friendly sustainable options? Why not make things for the people? So likewise we can think of such.
Yeah, you're
Focus
saying,
on such
yeah, so you're saying using one problem as a solution to another problem in a way.
Why not? See, it's just a thought process. We can always.
It is so true, though. I think, in fact, I'll add to it that circular economy, the way I look at it,
Yes.
is basically converting a crisis into an opportunity. And it can be done. I think human beings are extremely creative, ingenious. They always say that survival is the mother of invention.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And doing more with less is again circular economy.
Doing more with
And
less.
so a lot of the circular economy principles that we talk about were an essential part of how our probably grandparents lived, or how some of the even the local the indigenous communities still live, because it was they didn't have to learn about circle. It was just the way they went about their life.
Yeah, it was
It has become a necessity now because we live in a very different world. The world has changed in the last 50 years, where it has become very much a take, make, use, and dispose kind of a society.
yeah.
And so a lot of the problems are because of that. And so we have to again bring back some of the wisdom that was inherent part of our lifestyle
Yeah.
all across the world, and blend that with obviously proper science and technology.
Yeah, I want to understand from both of you, what do you think, why did we lose that indigenous knowledge or the ancient wisdom with time?
It's an interesting question. I think the forces of consumerism are extremely strong. So I'll give an example. I used to go, my mother's side of the family, they're all farmers. So I used to go during summer vacation and spend time with my cousins, with my brothers, and we used to love that farm life. But some of the practices that were followed were fantastic. They were sustainable. That was the kind of farming that was done for centuries. So nothing was wasted. Any organic manure or was put back into the soil. And
Yeah.
but then that was in the 70s. They started to pump in those artificial
Pesticides,
fertilizers as well.
yeah.
And because the whole focus was, and it was seen as bad, as almost antiquated practice, the using compost and using organic sort of waste for improving farms. And this is going, so I saw how that new thing came. And again, we are looking now where what's happening in the Western world is they're again going back to those practices.
Yeah,
They're using compost, you can't get enough compost in Australia because the farmers, Australia doesn't have the quality of soil we have in India. So the farmers are extremely keen to use all the kind of organic material to enhance the soil quality.
Yeah.
So those practices are coming back. So I'm not trying to say that everything old is gold, but we have to understand that somewhere we have to blend that wisdom and some of the practices that were very sustainable with proper science and innovation.
Yeah. And what do you think about it?
Yeah, because as far as indigenous things are concerned in India, India is developing. You see, in terms of agriculture, a lot of development has taken place which have been appreciated worldwide. But in terms of specifically if you ask me disaster related technology or equipment, India is still growing in terms because whatever equipment instrumentations are there, their maximum IC content or whatever technological power can, as of now we have to accept that fact is being generated in Western world. But without that also, if we know in India now a lot of efforts have taken place. Our Indian companies are working towards that. It's just that that user connect, what actually we want, if we communicate it well to the companies and then they know what actually they're supposed to build up. We have the best of the engineers in India. We know we have the best of the medical professionals in India, best of the scientists in India who go abroad and share their experience. So why can't they do it well for the country? So there is no doubt about the professional aspects and expertise which is available. It's just a thrust which is required, which as of now it is there, I feel, and it's just a matter of time when we start working and doing something good, really good, which will be upcoming.
Yeah, so true. I think in our conversation, I realized that you spoke of sustainability to the point of the carbon footprint, the energy we're consuming, and you're connecting it with the indigenous knowledge, the wisdom which we always had, and somehow we lost it because of the consumerism and and maybe because of the way we have now when we have decided to look at life now. So as we know that there is a generation ahead of us, right? We are in the moment, but as you said कि इतनी तेजी से हम कंजम्पशन कर रहे हैं कि शायद आगे वाले लोगों के लिए कुछ बचेगा नहीं बचेगा पता ही नहीं है और बचेगा भी तो क्या क्वालिटी का बचेगा. So that is a question, right? So the people who are watching this podcast, especially the young population, is there anything you would like to share with them?
Yeah, I love to see. I want to throw in a term. I mean, we talk about disaster, right? And disasters are typically what happens suddenly, right? Yeah. Suddenly there is a cloud burst. Suddenly we have a tsunami or what else and what not. But should we also call a guaranteed
Hmm.
slow death as disaster?
Oh my, slow death is disaster.
Yeah, which is
Oh.
what we are seeing now, right, in India,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
With our quality of air, quality of water, quality of food,
Hmm.
land. You know, what India was 30 years ago and what it is today, what India was, there's a massive decline,
Hmm.
you know, of all those key quality of life parameters.
Right. Sir.
I call it a frog in a pan syndrome.
Hmm.
There is a analogy where they say that if there is a frog in a pan and there's water and the water is gradually getting heated, initially that frog will enjoy it.
Hmm.
It's nice and warm and everything, and gradually the temperature keeps on going up. The frog doesn't notice that gradual increase to the point where it becomes hot and it cannot jump. It just dies, right?
Right.
Now same frog, it was put in that hot water, will just quickly jump out.
Yeah.
So that is what we are exposing every Indian to. Is unfortunately this slow death. We feel no country can call itself a developed country if the essential parameters like food, air quality, water quality, land are actually severely compromised.
Yeah.
And so I come back to the point that it cannot be development at any cost, because some of those issues are creating long-term permanent damage, including affecting and it's affecting people at a level where probably they may not immediately face the complications or consequences the next generation would.
Exactly. I think that is what we're working for right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, government is doing what they need to do, and we have summits like this, like WSDM. लेकिन एक common man के level पे क्या किया जा सकता है? Like a practical few pointers which you can ask all of us to do, and we can be in alignment with the nature.
Absolutely, it's a great question, because if we are going to ask questions, we also need to be providing solutions as well. And so I think, imagine that there are 1 billion people in India who make decisions every day. Some of those decisions are forced on them, but some of them have a choice.
Yeah.
They make decisions about every day about the transportation they will use on that particular day. They make decisions on the food that they want to eat, about shopping, purchasing, about recreational activities, about holidays. Now, can you bring elements and thoughts of sustainability in that decision making? So, if there's a teenager and if he is taking half an hour for a shower, can he have a shower in 4 minutes, which is more than adequate? So that one small change has the impact. Using, for example, treated water from municipal corporations to wash expensive cars every day. Is it smart? Is it sustainable? Is it good? No, it is not. A lot of choices we make on a daily basis, right? Even, for example, and consumers can play a role. I mean, if consumers decide tomorrow that they don't want to have water bottles, if it is a ban on water bottles because the government is put under pressure by the consumers, surely there will be a more sustainable way of water management or drinking water issue. Surely. So a lot of those things come down to what is the price or what is the value you put on those resources. Now, unfortunately, we don't do that very well in this country. We don't put a high premium on those resources, which we need to, because they affect our quality of life at a very fundamental level.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yes, I agree with you. I think the basic choice of carrying your own water bottle, I think, on day-to-day basis.
Why not?
If you said 1 billion people are there, even if like 10 million, even like 1 million people, they do it on daily basis. Huge impact.
Huge impact. And even small things, like how, why don't you have refillable stations for milk in markets, or why do you allow? See, I grew up with the situation where the milkman would have those big containers, and we used to take our own container, get it filled, and then boil it and pasteurize it. It was something we did every day, right? From that, we have changed to now plastic plastic sachets and
containers.
So it's all about convenience at what cost?
Yeah, I think it's a big question.
At what cost?
Convenience at what cost? Yeah, so true. So true. And how about you? I mean, if you would like to share something with the generations to come for, I mean, I would say if something you would like to share for the youth, what would that be from your side?
First and the foremost thing is develop love for the nature. See, Mother Earth has given us so much. Finally, we are here because of whatever Earth has given us, what we eat, what we drink. So finally, it's all from the Mother Earth. So we should develop the basic love for Mother Earth. Then only we'll start thinking that yes, it is ours. It is like any, I mean, anything which is there in the country that belongs to us. So that feeling should be there. So those things should be inculcated in the school education program itself, wherein a small kid like my son now, whenever he comes back, okay, one light is switched on, he'll tell me, okay, he needs to close it because probably he's been taught in the school. So these changes are coming in India. They are teaching, but then we should inculcate that and energy efficient things which are coming up. So my only thing to youth is develop, first is to develop love for the nature and then understand what they actually need and what they do not need. Like what you mentioned is convenience. So if they can walk down to any place which is just nearby, why to use a two-wheeler or a car for that matter? So that finally entire thing is going to the environment.
So true.
So likewise, these small things, what he also mentioned, like whatever we can save and whatever efforts we can do from our side. And the second and foremost thing is the knowledge level which India is having these days now are like what we call it from prime institutes, whatever Indian students were coming up earlier, they used to go out to foreign countries.
Right.
Why not? Why not be here in the country itself and I mean, give their good versatile inputs for the country to develop further now with a lot of thrust also towards Indianization and everything. I think with our good youth being in India, it will make a lot of difference in the coming years.
Wow, wow, beautiful. I think you have shared the love for nature, love for Mother Earth is the opening door to sustainability.
Absolutely, it is. I mean, if you don't connect, you will never appreciate what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not that life happens, I guess, and but the very fact that till the first 15, 16 years of my life, I was able to spend quite a bit of time on farms, was probably one of the things that gravitated me towards sustainability because you really appreciate how fragile and how precious nature is.
Right.
And I think, why not even schools should start to make it, as a part of the curriculum, have 2 week of stay in a farm or go and connect with nature. Once you connect, you'll respect it.
Yeah.
And you'll see that, like you can almost go to one small patch of vegetation and observe that over a period of time. You'll see that the entire ecosystem is created there in that small. So how that is so interdependent. I mean, talking about dependence, I mean, if the bee population, in the world reduces, we'll all be starving.
Yeah. Yes.
So how fragile is our existence?
How fragile, yeah. True.
Yeah. So they are the reason why, we have food on the table basically.
Right.
So we should thank the bees for that, because, so that is the level of interdependence we have and we need to respect that.
Yeah, so true. I think we look as human as a race, but that existence of human as a race is dependent on so many factors.
So many factors.
Which are working coherently in this entire
Absolutely.
in the entire planet. So important. So
and that's why I feel that need of the hour is that all the agencies who are working in the similar field should come back together and then work out for the solutions rather than only working on the academic or the written part or just talking. They should actually start focusing on one particular aspect and start working towards that.
Yeah.
And all interagency coordination, that thing is required.
Yeah.
Especially the terms which we have been listening here as well, in terms of, you see, the maximum things which are happening in terms of, you can say, excessive rain or excessive heat. Those things mainly are coming to the city areas. So what these terms these days, we are calling it urban flooding, we are calling it urban heat island effects.
Right.
Because those places practically have more of the concrete areas and they do not have proper drainage system, they do not have trees. So where will our kids and our future generation, what we are leaving for them? So high time is there to think of some green energy solutions, to look for the green patches like what he mentioned, and in every city we should have some sort of good green infrastructure so that giving good and for air and reduce air pollution as well. So likewise, we should think on these aspects, what I feel.
Yeah, lovely. I think both of you have shared a very different perspective of such a big topic like disaster management, climate crisis, which drops down to कि हमारे जीने का तरीका कैसा होना चाहिए basically.
Actually, because
It all comes
depends
down to
on
that actually. It does,
root
it does.
cause.
Does come
That
down
is
to
the root cause.
Yeah.
it is
the big
truly,
problem.
it truly comes down to the every action that we take at an individual level cumulatively has a massive impact on them.
Yeah,
But
beautiful.
we don't think it that way, but it is true. So that how we go, the choices we make.
Wow, the choices we make.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think जो आज का जो podcast है, it talks about taking responsibility, and the voice of resilience is actually, it's about the people like experts like you, and also telling people that what they can do, वो क्या कर सकते हैं, उनकी क्या जिम्मेदारी है. और हमने आज बहुत सारी चीज़ों की बात की, छोटी छोटी चीज़ों की बात की, जैसे अपनी बॉटल खुद कैरी करना है, या जैसे हम कैसे बच्चों को नेचर के पास लेके जा सकते हैं, फार्म स्टे करवा के कैसे वो प्यार जो कनेक्शन है अपनी धरती के साथ ला सकते हैं, ताकि उनको एफर्ट ना लगे कुछ करने में, वो एफर्टलेस बन जाए. सो थैंक यू सो मच फॉर द कॉन्वर्सेशन टुडे. इट वाज अमेजिंग. आई मीन, आई एम जस्ट सो हैप्पी टू हियर द एंटायर फ्लो ऑफ द कॉन्वर्सेशन जो हमने बात की. और थैंक यू सो मच. आई होप कि जो हमारे पॉडकास्ट को देख रहे हैं, द वॉइस ऑफ रेजिलियंस, उनको काफ़ी कुछ मिला होगा आज के पॉडकास्ट से. और द आइडियाज़ की कितने सरल भाषा में बात की जा सकती है. एंड आई थिंक हमने इसको इतना ब्रेक डाउन कर दिया टू द लेवल ऑफ कि आप क्या कर सकते हैं और हम क्या कर सकते हैं. आपका एक छोटा सा एक्ट भी इस अर्थ को, मदर अर्थ को बचा सकता है. सो प्लीज टेक दैट एक्शन, और वी विल सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट पॉडकास्ट, द वॉइस ऑफ रेजिलियंस में. ऑलराइट, थैंक यू.